to everybody. Hello, Shoromi.
Hello, ma'am.
Wonderful to have you here in this conversation. And let's just start in. I know when I first knew you, I knew you from the dance tradition, Bharatanatyam, following quite a strict discipline of dance. And then I've seen you move to theatre. So, what has dance been to you? Say the tradition. What made you move to theatre? And how do you see the two art forms? Are there conflicts or are you looking to integrate both? So, how do you see yourself? Do you see yourself as a performer without boundaries? Tell me.
I choose Bharatanatyam because I have strong liking for this particular art form. But after several performances, I felt that as this dance performance follows a strict rule and I have to go through rigorous practices. And before performances, everything is set in a frame of traditional classical performance, right? So there's a very little scope for improvisation. So that made me move to theater. And dance performance is basically a solo performance where you have some individual rights, individual freedom, where in group theater you have to respond in you have to respond to somebody's action. I mean, it is like action and reaction. In group theater, what I experienced in time of training, that we have to breathe together, we have to start working together. Initially we found that it was impossible for coordinating with 12 members or 13 members, but after some days we found that we can breathe together actually, and we can start working or we can stop working. So this makes a stunning coordination together. So those things made me shifted to theater. I have not shifted completely. I'm doing both the performances side by side, but this things gave me some support. Even I have used some theater elements in my dance performances.
How do you kind of integrate both as a performer?
Okay, so as a performer, I have integrated that in theater, we get more scope to improvise and to speak about contemporary issues, like right. But in classical performances, an exceptional thing what I have experienced, I can travel to a spiritual journey. I mean, with my audiences, with my viewers. So
Okay.
so I can bring these two art forms together where I can focus in both stagecraft, both viewers, and in communications. I mean, it those both the art form gives me a new ideas to communicate with my viewers, with my audiences, with eyes, with in Bharatanatyam performances we don't have bachika, avinaya, right? So everything will be said through my hands gestures. It's also a movement, it's also a language. My body language is a language, but in theater we have scope to speak with audiences. Okay, so I want to ask you that you have a great experience of both teaching and performing. So what do you think about uh, relevance of mythological stories or elements in mythological stories in present context of classical dance?
I would say the mythological stories that we teach the students, uh, it is a fantastic way of imparting history, because I think this way, the way we do it in the arts, is not done in school at all nowadays. So in a very contemporary way, how we can say that these were the stories that were told, and stories have started changing, but certain principles of those stories remain the same. So when I'm teaching, uh, say, uh, say something as violent as Narasimha. So instead of focusing on how Narasimha tore Hiranyakashipu, it is say I would rather focus on see how you. It is important to be truthful, important to be uh, mm, honest, and uh, যেটা বলে যে ভালো মানুষ হওয়া। তুমি ভালো মানুষ হয়ে তোমার ইগোকে যদি তুমি রাখো, তো নরসিংহর যেটা is the destruction of Hiranyakashipu is destruction of those bad elements of a person rather than a physical violence as such. But I really think যে originally আমাদের যে mythologies, Puranas, stories যা ছিল, it was all which had some ethical backgrounds. So সেই ethical backgrounds গুলো আমরা আজকের contemporary ethical background এ কিভাবে এনে সেটাকে merge করতে পারি, I would say that this is how I teach the youngsters and the new generation.
Everyone has their own idea of beauty, right? So what do you mean by beauty in your dance, or what is your concept of beauty through dance? Or and another question, that have you ever faced any conflict with your ideas of beauty with that of your companions ideas of beauty, or your viewers of ideas of beauty? Have you ever faced that or no?
Okay. As you said, of course, this whole concept of beauty is very personal. Our concept of beauty, especially in dance, is very different from, I think, general perspective. I will start with conflicts. At times হয়েছে আমাকে বলেছে যে এইটা কেন চুলটা এরম করে কেন বাঁধলি, চুলটা ওরম করে কেন বাঁধলি না। So I have had these conflicts. But for me, beauty of my dance, or beauty as I see it, is an inner thing. যেটা বাইরের ফিজিক্যালের সাথে it's not only বাইরের physical. I will be, it will be মিথ্যে কথা to say that I don't do my makeup or make myself presentable. না সেটা করি, so I won't be. That's also something, that a question that I have. So for me, my dance would be how I am connecting my feeling of this, the spiritual, jeta tumiyo bolle, is this absolute feeling of spiritual, especially that we get through the classical arts and some of the beautiful classical poetry. I would say even with some modern poetry, and not only classical poetry related to our classical dance. For example, Rumi. Rumi has nothing to do with our classical, but that the words are beauty to me. Kabir is beauty. So আমি যেটাকে সেটা enact করছি, সেটার যে beauty is beauty for me to dance. আর আমার এখন এই এক্সপিরিয়েন্সে যেটা মনে হয় আজকে দাঁড়িয়ে, যে I am strong enough to say yes, this is the beauty. I will be translating this beauty to the audience, and I would like to educate everybody to see the beauty beyond the physical. Let me thank you so much. It was lovely talking to you, Shourumi.
Thank you so
And
much.
I really do, hope that the younger generation, Tumra Shabai, will, break away boundaries of classical, the word classical, theater, folk, make it into a performance, you know, kind of taking our parampara traditions along with the contemporary, bringing in and building newer forms, which will have everything that, we shouldn't ever lose out on our rich parampara. Thank you.